Hello, my name's Tony Capstick. The city of Sheffield is a long and glorious heritage that is well documented and recorded. This video does not attempt to be a history of the city, but is a collection of old film from widely different sources, and is a reflection of some of the events and long-forgotten images of this century, as seen through the eyes of local filmmakers. If there has been original soundtrack on the film, this has been preserved to reflect the thoughts of the people of the time. I hope that you enjoy it now as much as they did. Let us now go back to the 60s and take a look at one of Sheffield's most memorable annual events, the Lord Mayor's Parade.
Once the Lord Mayor had arrived at the steps of the town hall, the parade could begin. Pride of place at the head of the parade went to the band of the Black Watch Highland Regiment, just one of the 15 bands and marching contingents taking part. The music of the bands and the sheer spectacle of the parade provided a carnival atmosphere in the city. The crowd was estimated to be 300,000 strong, which speaks highly for a city of 500,000 in all.
From humble beginnings as a public dispensary in Tudor Place, the Royal Hospital celebrated its centenary in 1932, and the daily events of hospital life were recorded by two of the staff. 7 a.m, the start of another day, and the nurses leave their lodgings at Ranmore for the 15-minute tram ride to the hospital. Arriving hard on the heels of the nurses comes the daily food supplies, and the kitchens are a hive of activity as the cooks prepare to cater for the 560 patients and staff. In the laundry, 2,000 garments wait to be laundered and mended as the hospital settles into its daily routine. As the patients begin to arrive in the outpatient department, each one is issued with a card for their particular doctor. Those who are disabled are collected by ambulance. The orthopaedic surgeon makes his examination and suggests treatment. Fractures are set with plaster of Paris and splints, whilst massage, manipulation and exercise form an important part of the ongoing treatment. Sheffield people have always turned out in their thousands for royal visits, as the following footage shows. A jubilant crowd of nearly 30,000 people waited in the warm sunshine to greet the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh at the Town Hall in October 1954. Some had been waiting since 4:45 that morning. Earlier, corporation workmen had tarmacked over the tram lines where the Queen was to inspect the Guard of Honour. Thousands of Union Jacks, hundreds of paper streamers tied to sticks, scarves, hats and handkerchiefs made a surge of colour as they were frantically waved, and hundreds of rattles, some still with their Wednesday and United colours attached, added to the noise of the welcoming cheers as the Queen's car glided to a halt 8 minutes early. The Queen was greeted by the Lord Mayor, Alderman J.H. Bingham, as the band played the national anthem. After inspecting the Guard of Honour, the Queen was presented with a bouquet of chrysanthemums by Miss Dora Bingham, daughter of the Lord Mayor. As the city recovered from the ravages of the Second World War, rapid developments in transport turned the attention of many to the tramways of Sheffield. Trams had been providing a well-used, popular service in Sheffield since 1873, but after the Second World War, private and commercial motor interests began to campaign for the removal of tramways from the city. The matter came to a head in 1951 when a report by the Transport Committee recommending the replacement of trams by omnibuses was submitted for consideration by the City Council. This was duly approved, despite the knowledge that tramway passengers were well satisfied with the system and opposed to the replacement, and closures of routes began later in the year. The process of closure took several years to complete, as routes were removed one by one, and the number of trams in service diminished accordingly. From a fleet of 452 tramcars in 1951, only 130 were still running by 1959. With the imminent demise of the tram system, plans were put into operation for a new bus interchange. One of Sheffield's oldest buildings, the half-timbered 15th century Old Queen's Head, once stood in front of a large pond. And it was from this stretch of water that Pond Street and Pond Hill received their names. On the site of this pond too was constructed in 1936 a temporary bus loading station that was the forerunner of the large complex to follow. Here we see the construction in 1955-1956 of the Pond Street bus station. The fame of the Little Mesters has spread throughout the world, and the story of some of the last of them, and the skills they possessed, are shown in the following film.
George Watts, a forger of knife blades from an early age, begins yet another day. Lengths of steel bars in readiness. The hand bellows of great age are used to bring the coke fire to a red glow. With the skill acquired over the years, he starts the processes by which a short piece of steel bar is changed into a sharp and shining blade for a lock knife.
Coming soon, in the second edition of Bygone Sheffield,